Welcome to Damn Good Movie Memories with your host, Brian Davis. This podcast is the cure for your long commute and super boring workday. Hey there, we're back. It's Brian Davis, and for this week's episode, it's going to be part 2 of our celebrity encounters. We had so many great interviews, and they went longer than we had originally thought, and we didn't want to edit anything down because these were kind of cool stories, and so we decided to split it up into 2 parts. Now, last week I teased that I had other celebrity encounters, but mostly musicians, and actually I have one athlete that my other brother Brian Provenzal also got to meet, and that is, if you were a San Francisco Giants fan back in the mid to late 80s, you of course remember Dave Dravecky. Now, Dave Dravecky, during the 1989 season, had developed cancer in his arm, and it was his pitching arm. And he went through this extensive comeback and treatment, and amazingly, he came back and pitched for the Giants, and it happened to be on August 10th of 1989, which also happened to be my 11th birthday, so I forever will remember this, not just because I was a huge Giants fan, but it was also on my birthday. And back then, games weren't really broadcast and on television all the time, so we had to listen to it on the radio. I remember it was a big deal. He ended up pitching 8 innings, which was amazing. I mean, nowadays, if somebody had come back from the disabled list with a minor injury, he's probably only going to go 4 or 5 innings, let alone 8 innings, and he won the game. I mean, it was an amazing story. It was a tremendous comeback and very inspirational. And unfortunately, the next game, he was in Montreal and he was pitching, and his arm just snapped. And it was a horrific scene. This one was actually on television, and it was just horrifying. And unfortunately, he never pitched again. And even worse, he ended up having to have his arm amputated. But from this and much pain and being down, and he came back and became an incredible motivational speaker and often tells his story. And both Brian and I were lucky enough to meet him and hear his story when he came to Yahoo to talk about, being inspirational. And, it can... his story was really, really touching. And on top of that, I happen to have the actual broadcast from the radio of his comeback. And so I had burned it onto a CD and gave it to him, figuring he already had it. But if he didn't, that'd be kind of cool. And as I gave it to him, he's like, no, I don't actually have this. This is so cool. And he was truly touched that someone had thought enough of him to give this to him. And to both Brian and I, it was part of our childhood. It was really a cool moment, and his joy that he brought me as an athlete, was the least I could do to, repay him for the years of enjoyment I had as a Giants fan growing up. In addition to meeting Dave Dravecky, I also met a few musicians when I was a radio intern and when I was in college, because I wanted to be on the radio, and that's why I'm doing this podcast now. But I got to meet Sebastian Bach, the singer from Skid Row, who is definitely a character. He had been out of Skid Row for a couple of years by then, and I really enjoyed Skid Row back in the day, and so I got to meet him. And so I remember him being at the station doing an interview because he was performing in San Francisco that night, and it happened to just be the day I was working. And I said to my manager, would it be okay if I, meet him, for a couple seconds? I'm like, oh, yeah, go in. He's pretty cool. So I walk in during a commercial break, and if you've ever seen Sebastian Bach, he is definitely a funny guy, and he's just like, dude, how's it going? And I was like, hey, how are you? And because I'm 20 years old, something like that, and I didn't even know what to say, which is kind of ironic considering I wanted to be on the radio. Anyway, so he... just kind of reach my hand, kind of gives me the bro hug, and he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, I'm an intern here, and this is kind of the cool stuff I get to do, and I get to meet you, and I'm a huge Skid Row fan. And then he kind of gets serious for a second. He's like, well, I'm not in Skid Row anymore. And I'm like, I know, I love your soul stuff. And then he's like, oh, I'm just fucking with you. And it's I kind of just like change my pants and move on with the day. But no, he was very cool. He was very gracious, and that was kind of a cool moment. Now, the other one it's kind of sad, as it turned out. Stone Temple Pilots was big back then, and Scott Weiland, of course, everyone that has followed the grunge scene knows how many people have died from that era, from the early 90s on, and unfortunately, Scott Weiland was a casualty of that demise and died of a drug overdose. And at the time, meeting him, he was nice, but you could tell, I don't want to say he was strung out, but you could tell he didn't really want to be there. Now, Dean DeLeo, who is the guitar player for Stone Temple Pilots, was almost like trying his best to make up for Scott Weiland being so apathetic. But it was still kind of neat to meet them and see this intimate acoustic show. And they did sign a poster for me and everything. But looking back, you kind of see kind of how Scott Weiland was a little bit troubled. But other than that, no. I mean, I'm surprised I never really met any athletes, no actors. Those were probably my best run-ins, meeting a celebrity of sorts. And so now it is time to hear part 2 of everyone else's stories. And if I remember any, I will append this at the end. But enjoy this week's episode of part 2 of our celebrity encounters. Okay, we're back with my other brother, Brian. How you doing?
Howdy, how are you?
Good. So for this week, we're going to talk about our celebrity encounters or sightings from afar or whatever brush with celebrity you may have.
Sure.
And it can be anything. So it could be an actor, it could be a musician, it could be an athlete, it could be people famous for just being famous. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I met any of those.
Yeah, okay.
No Kardashians in my my itinerary, but yeah, I have a little bit of list. Cool. I had the advantage of living in LA and New York.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
So it's a good place to do some celebrity spotting, both of them. So I'll start with LA. First, I lived in Westwood because I went to UCLA for grad school. So there's several theaters there. One of them does premieres sometimes, and they did the premiere for The Last Samurai. So I saw Tom Cruise, Billy Connolly, who's one of the co-stars. He's on Head of the Class.
That's right.
Howard Hessman. And then there were other random people around. Will Smith. Isaac Hayes.
Wow, that's pretty Shaft.
Yeah, I
know. Will Smith wasn't huge back then. That was what
early 2000s.
Okay, okay. I'm thinking of something.
Or 2004.
Okay, so he was big. Yes.
Yeah, he was big then. Actually, yeah. So that was the remarkable thing about that. Other than they're maybe like 10 feet away. If you're standing alongside the red carpet.
Yeah.
But, Tom Cruise is definitely not very tall. He's about 5'7", maybe 5'6". I don't know, depending on which shoes he's wearing.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Will Smith, though, was surprising because he is tall.
Yeah.
He's like 6'2", probably. And yeah, Isaac Hayes is tall, too.
Yeah, he seems like a big guy.
He was a big guy.
I'm glad you brought up Tom Cruise, because I forgot to talk about, you weren't here yet at Yahoo, but when Terry Semel was CEO, Terry Semel was the ex-CEO Warner Brothers, and so he knew a lot of the stars, and so when he became CEO of Yahoo, he sometimes brought his celebrity friends there, and one of them was Tom Cruise. Nice. And I saw people who I thought were normal that I work with just losing their shit, like just screaming and jumping when he was walking by. I'm like, come on, people. He's just
I don't know. Person. I mean, the thing with me and celebrities is, like, it's cool to see them in public, but I don't really want to talk to them. I'm just like, okay, that's interesting. Yeah. That's what he looks like. And that's kind of how he carries himself in public, or she, or whoever it is. But yeah, I don't know. I only went because I was out at the time, and I happened to stop by. Like, oh, this is an interesting thing I haven't seen before. A Hollywood premiere, and the red carpet, and it was just interesting to watch these celebrities go by and people shooting them with their photographs. I mean, there were definitely the element of the fangirls there, like,
sure,
Tom Cruise, or whoever. Yeah, but I don't know. It's just not like a thing that I really get into.
Right.
It's just weird to see people in public that are like super famous, and you only see in this weird interaction of your screen.
Yeah, it's true. It's like you're just out of your... Well, I think that's a lot of times when people, they think they see celebrities and they may actually do it, but it's out of their element, so you don't actually expect to see them in person, so they probably
you don't.
move along.
Yeah, I mean, that's some of my other ones.
Well, before you get that, sure. Katie Holmes was actually with Tom Cruise at the time, and she showed up here, and she towers over him.
Yeah,
and he
she's
was wearing
definitely
heels.
A lot taller.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was with anyone at the premiere, and I don't know if he was married to
Nicole Kidman
at the time, or they were separated, or what that was. But he wasn't at that premiere. He wasn't walking the red carpet with anyone.
Okay.
So it might not have meant anything other than he just happened to be at that particular one. by himself.
So I know he was dating Penelope Cruz for a while too. So
yeah, so I don't know. No one was there with him at that.
Was that the jumping on the couch era with Oprah?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Maybe probably pretty close to that.
One of my favorite was the Matt Lauer interview. Matt, you're glib. You're glib. It's just the most surreal.
I think Tom Cruise has done himself a favor and stayed out of public appearances for the most part, or at least not of that
craziness. Yeah, oh man,
he's toned it down.
He has.
There is no such thing as a chemical imbalance.
So postpartum depression to you is kind of a little psychological gobbledygook?
No, I did not say that.
I'm just asking, what would you call it?
Matt, that is the now you're talking about two different things.
But that's what she went on the antidepressant for.
But what happens, the antidepressant, all it does is mask the problem. There's ways of vitamins and through exercise and various things. I'm not saying that isn't real.
But aren't there examples where it works?
Matt, you're glib. You don't even know what Ritalin is. If you start talking about chemical imbalance, you have to evaluate and read the research papers on how they came up with these theories, Matt.
All right, so I don't know. I have a couple more from LA.
Sure.
One was Vin Diesel, who I saw at an Apple store, and I was like 5 feet away from him.
Oh, no way.
And the reason I couldn't get any, I mean, I didn't, not that I wanted to go up and talk to him, but like I could have, except for he had like an entourage of dudes and bodyguards, and I don't know who all those people were, but like they were literally surrounding him. So interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Like he seems like a really on screen. He seems like a really big guy, and he's definitely very muscular, but he wasn't all that tall. Like he's about my height, which is about 5'11", 6 feet.
Okay.
But he's not super tall and not bulky like you think of. I mean, probably The Rock is like huge.
Yeah, he was
like,
a
very
wrestler.
broad shoulder.
Yeah.
But like Vin Diesel is more like a normal human.
It is.
Who happens to be muscular, but not particularly.
The most common thing we hear is like, "Oh, they're shorter than I picture," which kind of makes sense because you're on screen. You have to fit into that little.
Yeah, so he was. I would say he's like thinner and maybe not as bulky as I pictured.
Right.
Yeah.
What Apple product did he buy? Did you notice?
I think I was looking at iPods or something, and he was probably looking at some other ones or headphones to go with iPods.
Sure,
or, I don't know, something like that. I can't remember anymore.
How many people were in his entourage?
Like 4 or 5.
Yeah,
enough to keep him well protected.
Right,
and they might have just been friends. I mean, probably one of them was a bodyguard.
Sure.
I would guess, because by then he was already in probably at least 2 Fast and Furious, at least 1 or 2, and then. Like XXX, whatever other random movies he's done. I really don't like him. So I don't think he's a great. I think he's just very dull.
Yeah, I agree.
He's okay. Like he probably I'm not into the Fast and Furious movies, and they have their fans, and that's fine.
Sure.
Like I don't judge.
Yeah, I find The Rock a lot more interesting.
I think he's got more humor to him, and Vin Diesel could have some dry humor sometimes.
Sure.
I don't think he's a great actor, so I'm not that interested in him. It's just kind of weird to be like turning around like, hey, I know Vin Diesel. Oh, weird.
Well, it's interesting because Enrique and I were talking about this, and you'll hear her stories eventually, but just going to the Apple store for you and I is like just a regular normal thing, and they can't do that. Like,
no, I mean they have to for someone like him, or even more famous, so they have to go with other people.
Yeah,
if you don't want to get inundated.
That's right. So or they call ahead until they open up for them, especially
send out an iPod. Yeah, I don't have to go in.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so there's comic book store in Westwood called Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash, which is owned by
Kevin Smith.
Okay, yeah. And I went in one day to buy some comics, and lo and behold, Jay was there. Jason Hughes. He was working at the counter.
No way.
It was totally weird. It was like I bought my comics from Jay. I mean, he was kind of talking to the other dudes behind the counter who normally work there. But he was, I don't know, he was just there.
He seems like he's not acting at all.
I don't think so, other than at the time I heard he has had some drug problems or maybe he has had rehab and everything, but he seemed totally sober at the time.
Okay.
He probably had gotten out of rehab or whatever he was doing at the time, but he seemed like a sober version of the characters he plays on.
Did you interact with him at all?
Other than I think he took my credit card.
Okay. See, if he was really Jay, he might have literally taken your credit card.
Hey, lunchbox.
Yeah, that would be surreal too.
Yeah, that was just weird. I'm like, Jay. Jay?
You should be like, smoke. You should have done all that.
Yeah.
But, so is that comic book store still open? Or?
I don't know if the one in Westwood still is or
Okay.
not. It was there for, I don't know, I haven't been there in a while.
That's pretty awesome, though,
because
Kevin Smith is way into comics.
Yeah, so he I think his original one, he opened one in New Jersey, kind of near New York City.
Where you grew up,
yeah, and then he opened the one in L.A.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was kind of cool. I never expected him or to see anyone famous there. I just knew that Kevin Smith was opening a comic book store. Then I walk in one day.
So when you were in LA, was Tower Records still open? I think it was on Sunset.
I don't think Tower was anymore.
Okay.
Because I was in LA in from 03 to 07.
Okay, that was towards the end of Tower, yeah.
Amoeba Records had opened a big store on Sunset. That was amazing. I think that's now closed or it's another company now. But
because I'd hear often you'd see musicians at Tower Records all the time because they lived on the Strip, and then Lemmy, when he was alive from Motorhead, would often go to Amoeba, and he was just a normal guy, goes alone. He was famous for hanging out at the Rainbow Bar and Grill. He had his own spot where he played video games and everything. So
that's cool. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there are definitely I think LA is one of those places where if you know where to find the celebrities, it's easy to spot them. And sometimes if you go to just kind of the most popular places, you'll spot them. Like Vin Diesel was at the Apple Store at the Grove Shopping Center, which is a big outdoor mall. It's near a movie theater, kind of in central LA. So it's certainly a place where you could imagine a celebrity would show up.
Sure.
And there are probably, like I said, if you go to premieres and stuff, you can see lots of them there if you really want to do your celebrity spotting.
Yeah, instead of buying the maps.
My greatest sighting, though, in L.A. was Muhammad Ali.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was in the Santa Monica. He was quite a presence, even though he was very hobbled by Parkinson's at the time. But so he was in an Adidas store with his wife, and I didn't, it was like one of those things where it's like, oh my God, Muhammad! I never would have in a million years expected to see him.
He's a legend.
But, I mean, you just, political and sports figure, acting, everything you could imagine. He's at the top tier of celebrities.
Absolutely,
you can imagine seeing. So it was just totally surreal to see someone like him there.
Yeah,
and I didn't go up to him, but a lot of little kids were in there, and their parents were oh, go talk to Muhammad Ali. And to his credit, he was super patient. He really wanted to let the kids come over, even though he couldn't do that much. And his wife was kind of there trying to don't do too much, Muhammad. Right. Just take it easy.
Sure.
But he definitely had it in him to he really was welcoming to the little kids.
That's good.
So it was nice to see.
Yeah. I think I would assume that most celebs are cool to kids because unless
they're snotty and their parents are being mean. But I think for him, I mean, it was just good to see that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
that's a cool sighting.
Yeah.
So and then you lived on the East Coast.
Yeah, I lived in New York for a year, and so actually this was before I lived there. But I saw Claire Danes and Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Oh, cool.
In separate sightings. Claire Danes, I just walked by her on the street. She, again, another person with an entourage, and I walked by.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Wait, I think, was that? And someone's like, yeah, that was Claire Danes. Oh, okay. And then she is very small, actually. That's one of those things where, one of those cases where she is, just smaller than you imagine.
Right.
It's like the camera ad. I think that's why, especially female celebrities are so concerned about their weight, because she was not the least bit fat or anything.
No.
But on TV, she looks, just more
average,
full, more average. But it's just, So I see that why they're so weight obsessed on in Hollywood.
The whole camera weight.
Yeah, she just seemed a lot more slight, and you wouldn't really even notice.
Interesting.
So Philip Seymour Hoffman, he was shorter than I imagined. And I saw him from across the street, and he was just kind of hanging. I think it was during a street festival, and he was there kind of watching from across the street.
Okay.
And he just there with his hands in his pockets, just checking it out, and I don't know, it's just a weird moment.
It seemed like he could probably get away with being more regular because since he was really a character actor.
He was not with anyone.
Yeah.
It's he could do that and he's not with him. Not wearing any makeup, he definitely looks much more like just this average,
a normal guy. Yeah. And if he was wearing glasses or had a beard or something, most people probably wouldn't.
He had shorts on, probably sandals or something like that. He was just this dude hanging out.
Yeah,
you would never know it was him unless you'd seen his movies. So, and then the other one was Jonah Hill, and that was when I did live there. My wife and I were going to dinner in Lower Manhattan, and then she elbows me. I'm I think that's Jonah Hill. I'm what? yeah, it's Jonah Hill. Oh my God, it's Jonah Hill.
So is this?
So we turn around and like we just kind of craned our neck to look back, and it was at a bike shop, so it looked like he was buying a bike or something.
Interesting. So is this Superbad era or is it?
Yeah, post Superbad. Okay. I think this is like 2012.
Okay, so post Moneyball too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Probably. Yeah, and it looked like it was. I think he was really thin at the time, so he had lost his.
Yeah, he's gone.
Lost weight. He's kind of depending on his roles and whatever he was doing, but yeah. And my wife was like, I can't believe his skin is like baby skin. Baby. That was the weird thing about it, and like because I think like especially if you see him in like Superbad, he's kind of like this schlubby kid.
Yeah.
And sort of like some of those roles, like he's just like very greasy, like
or 21 Jump Street. And,
just I don't know. It just depends on the role. He doesn't seem like, but he had this like glowing white baby skin. It was just so weird. I don't know.
Who would have guessed? See, we're getting insight here.
Yeah,
folks.
I don't know.
Yeah. Next time.
I mean, at that time, so maybe he had just had some kind of weird treatment. It's like to make his skin look beautiful for a movie. I don't know.
He just got a facial.
Yeah,
he got out of the salon.
He's going to buy his bicycle.
That's right. Awesome. Well, yeah. Look, with the paparazzi and everything, you have to look perfect.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, no paparazzi, but yeah, it was weird. And then the last one, which was actually a long time ago, was I was probably like I don't know. It was probably like 1990 or so.
Okay.
I saw Gary Cole, who was on this show called Midnight Caller, and they were filming that show in Candlestick Park during a Giants game. So my dad and I were sitting in a couple rows behind where they were filming a scene. Like basically, the scene was nothing. It was just like him sitting in the seat and then like getting some kind of a signal or someone tapping him on the shoulder, and then he had to get up and leave.
Okay.
And they did this like 5 times, and it was really annoying because we wanted to watch the game. It's
right.
Like, are they done yet? And I didn't care about Gary Cole. I mean, I think in retrospect, I care more about him now because that was before. Office Space. He's Lumbergh, and he's been in a lot of other. He's someone I probably could have put on the character actor.
Yeah, he's a great character actor.
Character actor list. But yeah, at the time, that was, I don't know if he had been in anything else.
Do you know what movie it was going to be for?
Oh, Midnight Caller was a show.
Oh, it was a show.
Okay. Yeah. I don't even know how long that was on. But we had never watched the show. I'd heard of it because I'd seen, the ads on TV.
Okay.
And then we taped the show just to see if we were in it. And so we were. It's like there's this one shot where he gets up, and then the camera pans as he's walking up the stairs to the back of the stadium.
Okay.
And you see my dad and I as he's going up the stairs.
Oh, that's cool.
For like a brief second. So it was kind of like cool to be on TV.
And that was back in the day where there might have not been a lot of people at the Giants game.
Yeah, it was. Well, that was the funny thing. Like we had really good seats that game.
Okay.
My dad had gotten some good seats, but it was like, and it was a bad game too. So it was like a 10-0 loss or something bad like that. It's like, but. So it was a distraction, and then by the time the distraction was over, the game was bad. It was just like a double whammy.
Yeah. So. That's awesome. Yeah, those are great ones. Yeah, you ran the gamut there.
Yeah, open all over, man.
And then, of course, I mentioned in it was this week's episode that you and I both met Dave Trebecki.
Yeah.
Our work was, speaking of the Giants, us growing up in the mid to late 80s, that was a big deal for us. So.
Yeah, and actually when I was a little kid, I got to meet some Giants at the park. Yeah, my dad got me into this thing called Day with the Giants. And it was... like a little baseball clinic. It was like a 2-hour baseball clinic put on by the Giants.
Oh, cool. Who were they?
It was during their worst season, so it was like
85?
85.
Which actually...
Johnny LeMaster was teaching fielding, which was like ironic. Bill Lasky, pitcher, Bob Brenly, and Chili Davis.
Nice. Yeah, I always loved, obviously, Chili Davis because of my last name, but... That's interesting. Is Lasky, if you're in the Bay Area, Bill Lasky does a lot of the pregame and postgame.
Yeah, that's right. He's on the CSN Bay Area now.
Yeah. So I think I did a similar thing. Where was yours held?
It was in the field.
It was okay. Yeah. So they used to do sometimes little like county things. So in San Mateo County, I remember being taken by a neighbor that lived down the street from us, and Joel Youngblood was the roving instructor. Yeah. And that was cool because he was like the journeyman pinch hitter, but he's famous for being traded by. playing for 2 teams in the same day. He was traded, I think, by the Mets to the Expos or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And so because it was in a doubleheader and he played both games for different teams.
Exactly, which is crazy. So
pretty bizarre.
Yeah. So all right, we're geeking out enough about our local baseball. That's all right. My dad and uncle
will talk about moves, I'm sure.
That's right. My dad and uncle were appreciating, so they listen. So thanks, Brian.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Okay, we're back with Samantha, and we're in the fun meditation room. It's like this weird office room.
It looks like a talk show room.
It does. This is actually perfect for we could do a video podcast here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Webcast.
So, speaking of celebrities and interviewing people, we're going to talk about our celebrity encounters. So maybe you've talked to them, maybe it's just in passing, and this runs a gamut. So it could be actor, musician, whatever it may be. So we've had some we've had some fun ones so far. So I don't know if anything's technically amazing anymore, but I'm curious to see who you have met or run into over the years.
So I have a few, but I am too shy to talk to people, so I've never talked to them.
Okay.
I was just awkward, quiet, staring.
Yeah.
And I regret it now. But, we move on.
Okay.
So
we'll go through them, and then I'm going to ask you, what would you have said to that person? So we'll do that. We'll go through the list first.
All right. So my most recent? But my biggest celebrity encounter came a couple years ago. I've mentioned on here before, I went to the Toronto International Film Festival.
Yeah.
So I went in 2015, and I'm a big movie fan.
Mm-hmm.
I've always wanted to go to a movie festival to see all the weird stuff that I like to watch.
Yeah.
So, but then part of the fun is you go to try and see the celebrities.
Right.
So my friend and I, we had a list of people we wanted to run into. We're like, maybe we'll see them out eating or walking the streets. That didn't happen. And we went the whole trip, and I was so bummed because we did see a few celebrities at panels and on the red carpets. I got a foot away from Mark Ruffalo, and I took a creepy picture standing above some other girl.
So I'm going to interrupt you for a second. Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned Mark Ruffalo. So I forgot to ask the bonus question to Brian Provenzal about who do people say you look like. And he came up with people say he looks like Mark Ruffalo. Really? So there you go. Yes. And I'm like, I kind of see it. So yeah.
Facial features.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah. So not to interrupt you, but I had to get that in for Brian.
I saw Mark Ruffalo in the flesh.
Yeah.
He was shorter than I thought he would be. But he has lovely hair. Mm-hmm. He had a wonderful tan. Yeah. He was super friendly to everyone. Cool. So yeah, that was just a spotting. I saw Rachel McAdams on that same carpet.
Oh, nice.
She was really pretty.
Mm-hmm. And
so we get to the end of the day, or the end of the trip, kind of bummed. My number one was to see Tom Hardy.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a big fan girl.
Yes.
And didn't get to see him. Okay. His red carpet event was rained out or something, so we couldn't go. So anyway, we get to the airport. I was so depressed because I didn't have any celebrity meetings.
Right.
And so I go with my friend, and then for some reason, I had never gone to Toronto before, but the airport was not only under construction, but the festival was going on. And it was, the end of the weekend, so tons of people were leaving Toronto.
Sure.
It was a complete mess. I'd never been in such a crowded, airport situation, because everyone had to go through customs and security, but, stuff was blocked off, so it wasn't the traditional layout where you get in a line, go through security, go through customs afterward. Everyone was in this gigantic queue, and they were funneling people in one by one to go into customs. So we had been waiting in line for over an hour. I was finally toward the front of the line, and my friend had left at that point because she had an earlier flight. So they kind of took you in by what flight you were taking. So long story, but this is all good. It all comes together.
It pays off in the end.
So I had been waiting and waiting and waiting, and I finally got to the front of this line, and it was a really small doorway, so maybe 5 feet or so, and then there was the 2 customs agents, and we're all standing there, and then so they were letting the normal passengers in on the right side, and then on the left side was the like all the people with the perks. So if you had your business class, your fast entry, or your VIPs.
Right.
So I'm standing there at the front of the line, and I all of a sudden hear this British voice in the distance, and I look up and it's Tom Hiddleston.
Ah, yeah.
So a lot of people didn't know who he was at the time, but I'm like, he's in the Thor movie.
That's right. He's
and the Avengers.
What is his name? I can't even think of his name in Thor. He's the villain.
Loki.
Loki. He's kind of a villain. Yeah.
Yeah, and he'd been in like a bunch of stuff, and I was like a big fan of him at the time, and I actually saw one of his movies at the festival, and like had seen him on a panel and like all of that. But it was so crazy because I was standing at the front of the line, and then here he is, and he there was this older couple standing next to me, and like their luggage fell over, and he was like, "Oh, let me help you with that." And so he like helped this older woman, and then he was standing there, and I was like a foot away from him for a good few minutes. Like I kind of looked, and then he smiled at me, and I was like, "Oh!" And then he like the people walked him through the thing, and the couple behind me was like, "Who is that person? He looks like a celebrity." And I'm like, "Oh, he's Tom Hiddleston. He's a British actor, like really tall. Like he definitely looked like an actor."
Right. So that's interesting as tall because usually everyone says, "Oh, they were shorter than I thought," but he wasn't.
Yeah, he was taller than I expected. But yeah, looked good in person.
Oh, good.
And so I was like a little flustered. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that's Tom Hiddleston!" And then it's not over.
Okay.
So we go into customs, and I had to like go through. They made you get in the line and do this thing on a machine, and then lo and behold, he went into another room. But by the time I finished all of that, I was in the same line with him again.
Nice.
So I spent like the next 30 minutes going through customs and security with Tom Hiddleston.
Nice.
So
did you make small talk of like, "Oh, I hate going through customs"? And no, you didn't. You couldn't say anything.
I was just silent, and he was with like his little group. He had an assistant and someone else, but like, I saw him go through the passport line, and then we had to stand in line to do security. But he got to go through the like fast like security line, so I was like standing like on the other side of the room. I'm like, I wonder what he has in his carry-on.
So after all this is going through, are you running through your head, I should have asked him this, I should have asked him that?
Yeah, but I was also paranoid because I'm like, can you like talk to people and ask for a picture in like airport customs?
That's a good question. So are you a photograph person or an autograph person?
I would have just wanted a photo with him. Yeah.
So I think you made the right move because you don't want to cause a scene, and so if he was just walking and he wasn't going through customs and you just saw him, you would have asked for a picture.
I would have if it was like on the street or something. But I was like, I was in security. There was all of the like security guards, and I didn't want to be some weirdo like running across the lines to be like, "Oh, excuse me, can I get a picture?"
I think you would have been very nice. He would have probably done it.
I know, and I was in Canada too. What could
everyone's nice in Canada, exactly.
But
you have to go through customs again.
Yeah, I still regret it. I was like quickly trying to finish up my security because I'm like, ooh, now that we're done with security, because we honestly went through the whole process at the same time. Yeah. And then so we both finished up, and then I saw him like with his little group, and I was like, oh, I can go over there now. But then they whisked him away into the lounge.
Yeah. So did anyone else come up to him or realize?
No.
Okay, so maybe they didn't know.
No one else recognized him, and this was before he dated Taylor Swift. And all that drama. So
I think I mentioned on interviewing other people, I think a lot of people are just shocked. Like they wouldn't expect to see a celebrity, so they almost like kind of just don't even think about it. Like it doesn't even dawn on them that this famous person can be standing right next to me, so they almost don't know what to do.
Yeah. And I was like, because you don't expect it. Like at the airport, like in line, like where I wasn't thinking like any of the celebrities would be going through security where I was, but we were so close. It
would have been amazing if he sat next to you, like on the plane. Then you would have been nervous the whole flight.
But sadly, he was not coming back to San Francisco. He was probably going to London or something.
But that would be the ultimate, you know?
Sitting on the flight.
And then watching one of his movies on the flight, that would be amazing. Yeah. Okay, so that's a great one. What are the other ones?
Then, sadly, I did find out afterward that Tom Hardy was at the airport that day, just a little later.
Could you imagine you could have had your Toms all in one day?
My two.
Your favorites.
My two faves in one afternoon. But yeah, so that's my big celebrity encounter.
Okay.
My long one. And I'm I was just so shy.
Did you have you had any others in passing, like where you've seen someone and then you're like, eh?
I saw Jared Leto at a restaurant.
Okay, yeah.
When I was young.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think this early 2000s.
Okay.
I don't know what movie he was doing at the time, but he had like really long hair.
Oh, okay.
And my mom actually was the one who
noticed
recognized
that? Really?
him.
So it could have been like almost American Psycho, possibly.
So, after that, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I saw him in a restaurant, but it was nothing like... It's like, oh, there he is.
Yeah.
And I was young at the time. I knew who he was,
Yeah.
but it wasn't like... If you saw him now, it would be like, wow.
Oh, that'd be a big deal.
Wow.
Okay, so we can also... Have you met any musicians? Because you're big into music, too.
Have I met any? I don't think so.
No,
I haven't really had like a lot of famous people encounters. I would definitely remember.
Yeah, those.
So, my other big one was, this is a really specific celebrity, but anyone familiar with the TLC show What Not to Wear?
Okay.
It was on for like 10 plus years.
Okay.
I was shopping in a store in New York a couple years ago, and I saw the host shopping in the same store.
Oh, cool. What was the host name?
Her name is Stacey London.
Okay.
And I'm a huge, big fan girl.
Okay.
When I was young, I wanted to work in fashion.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be a stylist and all of this. And I watched that show religiously. And she was like my favorite person. And then she was like standing right next to me in this store.
And couldn't say
anything.
anything.
And I didn't say anything.
Oh man! So what would you ask her? Like if you had a chance?
Just said, "Excuse me, hello." I would just want to say hi. Like
I'm a big fan. Thank you for your work.
You inspired me when I was younger. You have a great sense of style. But yeah, it was kind of creepy because I also didn't want to bother her because I could tell she was like on her off day and like she had her sunglasses on, and then like the people in the store knew it was her and were like giving her a special like dressing room and stuff. So I don't want to bother people. So I
think it makes sense because if you're I don't think a lot of people are courteous about it, and I think everyone that I've talked to has been very self-aware. Like they just don't want to be a bother.
Yeah.
The one time I actually did ask for a picture was I was seeing the Donnas in like, the early 2000s, and right next to me was Davey Havok from AFI because he's from the Bay Area. Yeah, and
I would have freaked.
And so my girlfriend at the time was kind of sitting on top of something, and she accidentally kicked the drummer, and he was nice about it. And then I turned around and like he's literally right there. Davey Havok's like right there, and he's got all his tats and everything. And I'm like I'm okay. Well, my girlfriend had a camera, so I'm like, I'll just ask him and see if he'd be nice.
That's a good place to ask.
Yeah, and it was before the show even started. And I'm like, Davey, would you mind if I got a picture? He's like, oh yeah, no problem. And he was almost kind of shy about it, but no one else came up to him. So I think, he wasn't out shopping. He was at another concert, so I think it was fun. But he stayed like in the crowd like with us regular people like the whole time, so it was kind of cool.
To like the side of the stage.
Yeah. So that was neat. I'm glad you reminded me of that.
So.
Okay, and then the bonus question, which I've been asking people. Who do people say that you look like that is a celebrity?
I have gotten just random weird ones before. I don't really know if it's more how I look, like, or how I like dress, but I've gotten the Audrey Hepburn thing a few times.
Yeah, I definitely get that. Yeah.
But I don't see it personally. I'm brunette and pale, and I wear a lot of black.
And you have the short bob hair. So yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of the big one. And then a while ago, maybe this was in high school or something. I would hear that I looked like one of the random, like, kind of guest stars on Friends.
Oh, really?
And I never watched Friends.
Okay.
Like, I don't like it. But I've of course seen it and here and there in passing. But I think she was, like, Ross's girlfriend.
Okay.
She was British or something. And I looked it up and I was like, oh, maybe.
So it's funny you mentioned that because I forgot to even do my own question. In high school, because Friends was kind of at its peak, I got Ross a lot. So I got David Schwimmer, and so I guess... And I saw his picture, like his high school photo they showed in People magazine, and it did kind of look like the same. Yeah.
You were younger.
It's the hair and the nose and things like that. So
the similar coloring.
So there you go.
That's my...
All right. Well, thanks as always. That was super fun. I hope you meet the Toms when actually get to speak to one of the Toms.
One of the Toms.
Yeah. That would be
the
good.
running joke of this podcast.
Absolutely. And we're going to have to try to get this room again. So it was perfect.
Yeah.
Thanks, Samantha. All right, we're going to talk celebrity encounters with David. Welcome back.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm assuming you've gone to a lot of like festivals and things like that and just running into people in the city, I would assume.
It's funny, yeah, it's more so just running into people in the city.
Yeah.
I don't think... Oh, well, actually, I forgot. I ran into somebody at a festival. But, yeah, for the most part, it's just like randomly being in the city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go through the list. So
the most recent one, I was at brunch, and my back was to this person.
Okay.
But my friend was facing the person, and my friend was like, I think Trevor Noah's behind you. And I was like, huh?
Because he's performing out here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And she was like, the Daily Show guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, he's in the East Coast.
Yeah.
Like she has to shoot the Daily Show.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, it's a Friday. Daily Show is only Monday through Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I tried to be sneaky,
Yeah.
do like the turnaround and like all that stuff. And then finally like when we got up to leave the table, I just like did a direct stare and I was like, holy shit, that's Trevor Noah. And it was like the day after his big, what was that thing that he did that went viral? That was like, it was about race or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like really big. And so it was like the day after that, and I was like, oh man, like that's so crazy.
Yeah.
He's just eating the same brunch place as me after.
So was he with a major entourage or was just like
He was with a really attractive Asian lady.
Okay.
And so I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Of course he'd be like with a hot Asian model.
Right.
But yeah. So
But yeah, I just saw him. He's performing. I don't know if it was in Napa or Santa Rosa or something like that.
Yeah, we looked it up after.
Okay, yeah.
And it was like Saratoga.
Oh, okay.
Or something like that. So I was like, oh
which is the
yeah.
opposite way. But yeah.
Yeah.
But
So-
yeah, he's always doing stand up. So
Yeah,
that
so
makes
he
sense.
was like here for the weekend doing stand-up sets or whatever, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So
Can they film the Daily Show remote, or do you always have to be in studio?
I think for him, he probably has to be in
He's the
studio
host,
because
yeah.
it's the host. But yeah, all those other segments and stuff,
Yeah.
I feel like you can totally be
Mhm.
remote. Yeah, because I was like, that's a bummer. Like,
It's a lot of traveling. So
yeah, especially if you're like a touring comedian.
Yeah.
you can only tour like Friday to Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he probably makes more from those gigs than he does, because I can't imagine Comedy Central paying a
Yeah,
ton.
and that's kind of like the reason why you would go with a guy like that.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to be like crazy expensive like
Yeah.
Colbert or
Obviously Jon Stewart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's one.
So that's one. The other one that the festival one.
Yeah.
I told you about this already, but I was backstage at the Napa Bottle Rock Festival. Not this one, but the last year's one. And my friends were playing it, so I was like, "Oh, cool!" Like hanging out backstage, like in the like the artist area. And Robert Trujillo,
from Metallica,
walks by and like does like a little shoulder bump. He's like, "Oh, sorry." I was like, "Oh, no worries." And then I was like, "Holy shit, what?" And then like it was too late, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's Robert Trujillo!" And my buddy's girlfriend is a huge metalhead, so she was like, "Oh my gosh, it's Robert Trujillo!" And so like for the rest of the festival, we were just like trying to hang out backstage to like run into him again.
Because I've heard him interview. He just sounds like a really down to earth, cool guy. Yeah,
he was just like super mellow, but he was there not performing. He was there kind of like on dad duty because his son, his son's like little. I don't even think they were in high school. I think it was like their middle school band or something. Was like opening on that Sunday.
Okay.
So he was there like kind of in support.
Yeah.
I think he played a song with them. So he was like totally there like in dad mode.
That's cool.
But he had a huge posse. They had like a huge trailer and stuff.
Oh, really?
They had like a whole section in the back. So aside from like the brush up, it was hard to like get close to him again.
That was your one shot.
Yeah. And so like we followed him to the bathroom and we're like waiting outside and it didn't work out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like, oh my god. But the fact that he was like with his family, we're like, this
Let
would
him
be rude, right?
Yeah.
Like, all right. And yeah. So.
But his son's supposedly really talented. Like he performed a show at Korn because they needed a bass player, and I heard him being interviewed, Robert being interviewed, and just how his son can do all these crazy things, like playing bass, and like when he was 14 or 12 or whatever, he was like serving sandwiches or something, making sandwiches. So this kid definitely is super talented, almost
Super
like Eddie Van
talented.
Halen's son, like Wolfgang. So
Oh,
supposedly he's like a a savant when it comes to playing all sorts of instruments.
If you name your kid Wolfgang,
you better be.
You're going to be a master of something.
Well, it's funny because you mentioned bass player. So when I was at Ozfest, I ran into Mike Inez, who was in Ozzy's band, but also in Alice in Chains, and he was playing with Black Label Society at the time. And he's super short, and I'm like, can I get a picture with him? He's like, yeah, man. And I towered over him, and I was like, wow, that was cool. But he was
so
super
weird.
Nice, and usually at festivals, people are cool. It seems like, but
and also being a metal person, you kind of expect them to be larger in life and these crazy characters, but especially in metal, the older generation of metal guys, they're all dads or grandpas
at
now.
This point.
So it's just they're just kind of boring. They don't party. They're just here with their family and.
So there was another Ozfest with at the Shoreline, and we got there late, and it was just my buddy and I, and we kind of broke in the side, we noticed that, and we ended up backstage. It was actually the parking lot of the Shoreline, and as we're walking, I noticed there's a tent, and I was like, is that Pepper Keenan from Corrosion of Conformity and Down? My buddy's like, yeah, and I always had a disposable camera at this point, because this is before iPhones and everything. And I'm like, Pepper, can I get a picture with you? He's like, yeah, come on. He's just in this little tent with this, it was this industrial-sized fan. I remember, kneeling down. He's like, hey, that fan might cut your leg off. You better be careful. Okay. And then he's just, cool to, he just, he didn't ask, how did you get backstage? He's just, whatever. And I guess if you just act like you own the place and,
well, especially because, behind the backstage areas, it's usually such a clusterfuck.
Sure.
Just, there's tons of people just, running around and whatever. It was actually kind of cool because... Since we were there, they had their own, tent and stuff, my buddy's band. So they're treated not as nicely as, the Chili Peppers were headlining that night. So they weren't being, as razzed up as somebody like them.
Yeah.
But it was still the person would pop their head and be like, do you guys need anything? Do you need any more waters? Do you need any more beer?
Yeah.
It was yeah, we totally do. Can we get some more? What? Yeah. So it was kind of cool.
Yeah. So when you went to South by Southwest, did you see anybody there?
Well, it was funny because that's back when we worked for a different company, and whose investor was Ashton.
Right. That's right. You did. Yeah.
And so he quote unquote and only invited a certain number of our company's people to go to this South by party, and so. It was Burns and a couple of the other the marketing guys were oh yeah, we're gonna go, but I don't think we can get you in. They just went upstairs, just
left, dick move,
left me and Ann and maybe some other of us just in the bar downstairs what? And then they ended up going up, and I think it was something weird Dave Navarro or somebody rock star-ish was playing the party that was upstairs and. Yeah, just super random. So
did you see Ashton Kutcher when he came? Because I started a week before. He actually came to the office. Were you there when he was there?
No, because he got there apparently at the crack of dawn at 7:30 a.m. Mm-hmm. So of course it was only Bob and a couple of the other people who got there at 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
But he showed up before the office really filled up. But apparently he was just going around everyone's shoulder. Hey, what you working on? And, it would have been kind of cool though.
So to give everyone insight, because more than our friends actually listen to this too sometimes, Ashton Kutcher actually was an investor in the company that David and I worked at before Yahoo, and so that was kind of cool. But we could have run into him. But,
we could have.
Nobody was getting to work at 7 o'clock at that point.
Oh gosh, that South by. I saw a lot of famous people and stuff there, but I didn't
actually run into.
I didn't actually Yeah, now that I think, nothing at South by. But
have you had any other celebrity encounters? Because I'm just thinking that you run it because you're always going places.
I constantly run into Dave Chappelle.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've run into him maybe 3 or 4 times.
Mm-hmm. In San Francisco? Okay. Yeah.
The first time... Wait, how many times? The first memorable time... my buddy was DJing at... what's it called? The Redwood Room at the Cliffs at, downtown. One of the hotel bar things.
Yeah.
So he was DJing, and so because we were friends with him, we got a booth next to him, next to the DJ set. So we all got to hang out, whatever. And then like our friends were bartenders, so we got a bunch of like free stuff.
Sure.
And since we were, set up in like the nice booth area, just so happened that the nice booth area next to us, they put Dave Chappelle. And so he was like, hanging out, just like whatever. This is like recent to Dave Chappelle, so it's like his big muscular, like beefcakey Dave Chappelle. So he's like hanging out, drinking. Like he has a huge posse. Every time I've seen him, he has a huge posse. And he was like hanging out, and then he looked and he saw me, and I at the time was wearing this stupid Mount Rapmore T-shirt, which is Mount Rushmore, but instead of the presidents, it was like Biggie and Tupac and Grandmaster Flash and Eazy-E. I think were all the faces on Mount Rushmore. So he, being like a huge
hip-hop fan,
fan, was like, "Hey man, I like your shirt. Can I get a picture?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, yeah!" Like, and so I just tried to be like really cool about it, like, "Oh yeah, man, what's up?"
But inside, you're like, "This is awesome."
Yeah. So a photo of me exists on his phone somewhere.
So you didn't want to ask him for just take a picture with him?
Yeah. So I didn't turn it on and be like, "Hey, can I get a picture too?"
Yeah. You probably would have done it.
Probably. Because I've heard that was probably the most I've ever interacted with him. But I've heard he can kind of be a dick.
Sure.
But I heard he's also pretty chill, especially when he's just in the city. He's usually just around partying and stuff.
I think since he went up to you probably would have been cool about it.
But because he but it was actually really funny because he was super low key about it. So it was weird because it was kind of how you would imagine maybe he would expect someone to approach him, not make a big deal about it, just hey, can I get a picture?
Yeah.
So it was kind of funny that he did that to me.
It's surreal, yeah.
Yeah.
Now that's a great story because who would have guessed? Usually celebrities don't come up to you, so that's great.
So he has a picture of me. I ran into him again at another of my buddy's bars. He showed up right when Last Call was about to get called, and at this bar there's the main first floor, and then there's a upstairs that kind of is a not balcony, but has it kind of runs along the wall.
Sure.
So there's a whole upstairs, so you can potentially continue serving even after Last Call, because even if you shut the doors, turn off the lights, and if a cop drives by, if you're drinking upstairs, it can potentially look like no one's partying.
Got it.
So Dave Chappelle and his whole posse showed up.
You're just giving away everything. So
well, I'm not saying what kind of bar this is.
Right.
But he showed up, at 1:45 or 2 or whatever, and it was getting shut down. But he shows up and was basically to my friend who owns the bar. It was we'll pay you this much if you
let us
just leave the bar open and just serve us. And I don't think we got kicked out, but it was basically
they're implying that they want
under the table, buying the bar for the rest of the night, kind of thing.
Does that happen often to your buddy that owns the bar?
I cannot confirm nor deny, but that was the only one that I was around for.
Yeah. I would assume this happens every now and then.
Yeah, especially because a lot of bars, if there's no, a lot of bars don't have windows.
Right.
So if you just shut the door and
who would know?
And just the crew is inside, then you wouldn't know. But so. That was awesome. So he showed up again there, and I saw him, and this was after the T-shirt incident. So I wanted to be like, "Hey man, what's up?"
Mount Rapmore.
Yeah, but I didn't say anything. He has. It was a weird crew of massive dudes and just kind of gross party slut girls, and I was like, "Oh, what kind of life do you lead?"
Is he still married?
He's married, but every time I've seen him, he's been out with a party crew.
Okay.
Which is mainly huge black dudes.
Right.
And weird party slut girls.
Interesting.
So it's man.
It's his show. I mean, that's how you picture a show.
So I was like, all right, that's cool. So it was late. We were going to go home anyway. I had actually driven that night, but I parked maybe a block or so away, and it was... it's in kind of a sketch neighborhood. Okay. So I was like, okay, let's go. I was with Samantha. So let's walk to the car. We walk outside, and there's a kind of big black dude in like a trench coat and like a cool hat.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, like, hey, like, what's up? And he was like really chatty and friendly.
Sure.
And he saw that, Samina was wearing heels.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, oh, like, where are you guys walking to?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, like, we just parked around the corner. Like, we just got to go to the car. And he was like, oh, well, I'm just stuck here anyway. I can drive you. And we were just kind of like, huh? He was like, yeah, once Mr. Chappelle is at a place, I'm kind of just stuck around waiting for him. And I was like, what? And so he was like, yeah. And his car was like right in front. Mm-hmm. So he was like, yeah, like I can take you wherever you want. So we were like, oh my gosh, yeah.
This is awesome.
So we got a ride in Dave Chappelle's car.
That's badass.
Which was like a Mercedes. It was either like an S-Class or Maybach or whatever, like one of those like fancy cars. And so we get in, and I was like, oh, what is this, a Hyundai? He was like, no, it's a blah, blah, blah. And I was like, ooh, that's fancy. And I was like, does it have back seat warmers? Yeah. And he was like, action. He hits the button, and because that's Samina's huge thing, I was like, I want a seat warmer everywhere. So she was like, oh my gosh, the whole seat warmed up. She was like loving it.
Yeah.
And we only drove like a minute around the block, but it was still like, oh my gosh, this is so cool.
That's pretty awesome.
And he was like a really sweet guy.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like super random.
That's pretty cool.
So got a ride in his car.
So now, if you just happen to be in San Francisco and Dave Chappelle's partying, try to find the driver.
Yeah,
you might get a free. It's better than Uber.
Yeah, totally. I'm trying to remember. I think the other times that I've seen Dave Chappelle weren't like interactions like that, but he was like at the same kind of place.
Okay.
But those are the ones that I remember like actually like having some kind of an interaction with him.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's in the city all the time.
Yeah,
and like, especially because so many of my friends are bartenders and stuff. Mm-hmm. So they're always like, oh yeah, Dave Chappelle was in the bar last night.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Does he just show up to places and perform too, like unannounced?
I think for comedy places he does, but for bars, I think he's normally just like,
there to party.
He's like super like low key. He's not like big and showy. He's just kind of like, hey man, and like, he's Dave Chappelle, so he's just like right this way, and he usually has like a posse with him.
It's interesting because he really hasn't done like movie wise or definitely not show wise. But
well, those 2 Netflix specials that he did, I think he got like $25 million or something like
so
insane
he doesn't need to do anything.
just for like 2 like hour-long specials. I think he got like something crazy, like 25 or 30 or I don't know, something like huge number of millions of dollars. Just for 2 hours of comedy specials.
Netflix is paying up the ones. Like Adam Sandler basically is exclusive to Netflix now. So.
I think it was the same with like Dave Chappelle and I think Chris Rock was the other one.
That makes sense.
Somebody, but yeah, they're just like, here's all this money.
Yeah.
Your special is going to live on Netflix now.
It's smart.
Yeah.
It's smart to do.
The other one was Kelly Osbourne, but that's
where did you meet her?
At a club in LA.
Really?
Yeah.
Was she?
This was back when I was in high school, so this was when she was still on The Osbournes.
Okay, so yeah.
This was like after season 1, I think. And it was, she had just gotten out of rehab at the time.
Oh, God.
But the people that I was with were also SoCal people, and they were like scenester girls, so they partied with her a lot of the time. So we went to this club expecting Kelly to show up, and she did. And
by herself, or was she?
I don't remember. I think this might have been after she broke up with Bert.
Oh, that's right.
The used guy.
Exactly. He was weird.
But she showed up, and like we were all dancing on like the stage together, and like I think it was another like bumping into her kind of a thing, and turned around, and she's like, "Oh, sorry, hi, my name's Kelly." And I was like, "Oh, I know who you are, but nice to meet you."
Your dad's awesome.
Yeah, super sweet.
And
yeah, the overall plan was meet Kelly at the club. And then go back to her house after, which at the time was still Ollie's house.
Oh, that would have been
so
amazing.
I was like, let's just take this party back to your place. But, it didn't work out.
Oh, man. So, I mean, Ozzy would have just been sitting there with his dog watching TV.
He probably would have been asleep.
Oh, yeah.
I think, like, they had wings of the house to themselves.
You would have never seen them.
But still, just to have been like, oh, my gosh, I was in Ozzy's house.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah. So.
That house looked amazing, too. So.
Still,
or you could run it. So you never could. So Jack wasn't there, or like they didn't. Really
no, it was just Kelly, and then it was just her.
Okay, yeah. That's a good story too. Yeah. All right. Thanks as always, David.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not done yet with David. Who do people think you look like that's a celebrity?
So, in high school, after I quit my job or actually, this might have been after high school, when I quit my high school job and I was like in college mode of just like, I'm just a student and I don't have like any responsibility and I can look like a schlub. I had like all my hair grown out.
Okay.
So like really long hair and just like a gross gangly beard. And I was at my friend's house, like visiting maybe like Christmas break or something.
Okay.
After. Mm-hmm. And his mom was like, "Oh, you look like Johnny Depp." But this was during Secret Window era Johnny Depp. So I was like, "Oh, I look like a wife murderer?" Spoilers. But yeah, that's okay, cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I look like murdering Johnny Depp.
Okay.
Yeah. And then in college, when I had to start, clean shaving for work, whatever.
Yeah.
I was at my college job, and we were doing like a, let's cast everybody at the club. Who would play you in the movie of work? Mm-hmm. And for whatever reason, everybody said Justin Long.
I can see that. Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
Who were the other ones that people thought? Like,
Sometimes I get Keanu Reeves.
Yeah,
but
I get that.
I don't.
It's the dark hair too.
I think it's just the hair and like.
You kind of get the same beard almost.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm really good at shooting kneecaps and then heads as well. Love you, John Wick.
Yeah, you have much more. You have better personality than Keanu.
I think he has a wonderful personality.
On that note, we'll leave it at that.
Number one Keanu fan. If you're listening, I love you.
You and Ann Richards, I know. So.
He's the best.
Cool. Thanks, David.
If you enjoy this podcast and are an iTunes user, please do the show a favor and head on over to the official iTunes page for Damn Good Movie Memories. Be sure to leave a rating and a review. This will allow the show to appear higher in the algorithm and spread the joy of this podcast to the masses. If you are not an iTunes user, you can still listen and subscribe on Podbean at damngoodmoviememories.podbean.com. Be sure to like us on Facebook under our Damn Good Movie Memories page. You can also listen to a limited number of episodes on YouTube. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode, and be sure to tune in next week for an all-new episode of Damn Good Movie Memories.